Hey, real estate brokers and mortgage brokers, if your company wants to have a private training on non-QM loans, the fastest growing segment of the mortgage market right now, to not only understand the products, but also how to sell them to an underserved community of self-employed folks, we can do that for you. All you have to do is click this banner right over there, and my team will set up a private training for you and your office. So I look forward to seeing you guys. Let's make this happen. On with the show. So how fickle is the United States housing market? Rather, how fickle are investors in the United States housing market? Rather, how impulsive and unprepared are investors in the United States housing market? This is crazy. Just consider this. A few short days ago, the investment firm Blackstone announced that they were raising $50 billion to scoop up affordable homes in anticipation of our now current recession. Then, just a couple short days ago, Blackstone announced that they were going to stop buying homes in 38 regional housing markets. Why are they doing this just a couple days later? Well, they say several factors such as home price appreciation, state and local regulations, and market demand, which they didn't anticipate a few days before when they raised $50 billion. Now ask yourself, how is that even possible? What are they going to use that money on if they're no longer going to invest in homes?
Blackstone just announced their intention to purchase the entire Pink Floyd catalog of music.
Righteous, man. So what other music artist does the real estate slumlord juggernaut own the rights to?
Blackstone owns the music catalogs of Justin Timberlake, Bob Dylan, and Bruce Springsteen. And by the way, Bob Dylan sold his music rights for a cool $300 million. And the boss, Bruce Springsteen, well, he sold his for $500 million. You'd think with that type of loot, they might just be able to drop the price of their concert tickets.
All right, well, Justin Timberlake is cashing in on his music. Now, the Wall Street Journal reporting that Timberlake sold the rights to his song catalog to a fund backed by Blackstone. Now, the deal reportedly worth $100 million. Timberlake is the latest artist to make this kind of deal. Bruce Springsteen, Bob Dylan, Stevie Nicks have all announced similar moves. Now, in the streaming era, music has become more valuable and investors are paying as much as, get this, 30 times their average annual royalties.
Now, continuing on the theme of real estate is crazy and investors are just ill-informed, the iBuying tech startup Really just shut down after only 1 year in operation. Now, what that tells me is their real estate idea was just a bad idea. Unable to weather a retraction in the market? Now, what's nuts is investors, people gave them $100 million, and nobody who gave $100 million thought to ask, hey, what happens if the market changes for the worse? Do you have a plan for that? Nobody asked that.
On the scuttling of $100 million of other people's money on a bad idea, Really chairman Amit Haller said the challenging real estate and financial market conditions and unfavorable capital raising environment led to the decision to wind down their operations.
He goes on to say that Really was one of the pioneering companies to offer the buy before you sell and cash offer programs to homeowners, saying, we believe deeply in benefiting consumers foremost in every transaction. Evidently, he doesn't really care a whole bunch about his investors, though.
But they never thought to ask, what happens if the market changes? So the moral of the story is this. Real estate investing will come and it will go, but Pink Floyd will be with you forever.
The dark circles in the classroom.
Hey, listen, I kind of agree with that statement. You know what Pink Floyd doesn't need? Deferred maintenance like your house. Think about that for a minute. In other news, here's a great quote. Restoring price stability will likely require maintaining a restrictive policy stance for some time. The historical record cautions strongly against prematurely loosening policy. So says Chairman Mao.
He meant to say Chairman Powell.
I mean, is there really a difference?
Which officially lets us know that the Fed is going to keep raising rates. But what of that historical record is he talking about?
The 6'7" chain cigar smoking 80s Fed chief Paul Volcker, who didn't put up with anybody's crap. Back then, when the peanut farmer entitlement programs created a never-ending inflationary number of 10, Volcker said, hold my beer, I've got this thing. Look at the blue line. That's the Fed fund rate. It went from a 5 to 20% in less than a year. Mortgage rates, that's the yellow line. This is Volcker's legacy. It went from 7% to 18% in less than a year, so I don't want to hear you guys complaining about interest rates. The result back then, 1982, 1983 back-to-back recessions. High five! I mean, as every sports fan knows, it's hard to go back-to-back.
And as a result, we haven't seen inflation like that until now with our new round of mind-boggling money handouts.
I mean, wherever you stand politically, you kind of have to admit, I swear this administration has a color-by-numbers book on economic policy. The point is this. If Powell is being honest about looking at the Fed's historical record as a roadmap to deal with inflation, talking about Volcker, and that means the Fed fund rate raises in the future might be more extreme, a lot more than what we've already seen. So buckle up, Buttercup. This is going to be a rocky ride.